Hi there, and welcome to High Heels to Happy Feels. For this week, we're coming to you live from the Flathead Faerie Festival, and we're parked here in Kalispell, Montana, in the camper. Good to
Hello,
see you. I'm Natalie,
I'm Stephanie.
and this week we are going to be talking about becoming. So this was a planned podcast, and we've kind of gone through those notes, but strangely, and not at all strangely,
Right?
our astrology and we did a lot of readings today.
A lot of readings. And
Like a lot of readings.
and so much of it was about becoming.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we were going to talk about becoming. That was how Natalie ended because she had to do it for me last week. I'm really sorry I've missed so much lately. We're pretty
It's
well done with the
fine.
craziness, but the theme today all day long was like not just beyond authentic, but it was like the how. Where am I going? What am I doing? Who am I going to be when I grow up? What am I becoming? Right?
I can think, okay, so we really did do a lot of readings today, and I can think three off the top of my head that all had some kind of level of becoming
Right.
questions
Right.
related to that, or even the conversations I had with that one gentleman
Oh, right. That was hanging out while I was doing her reading.
while you were doing the other, yeah,
Mhm.
while you were doing that reading and explaining, his military career and his becoming. So
And how
anyway,
his
we should just get
awakening,
into it.
his awakening. So yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what does it mean to be becoming? What does it mean? What does becoming mean?
Well, and I think so, like a lot of times we always talk about know your purpose, take your next step, do
Hmm.
your next thing. So we have like all of these expectations from our society, and
Oh my God, don't we though?
like, so we force ourselves into this becoming. And I think like the last reading I did, there was a lot of anxiety around this person's becoming
Hmm.
because they're a young adult and really searching for what am I supposed to do? What's my purpose? And at
Yes.
Immersive Spirit, that's that's our jam. That's the thing we love.
Right. Coaching and development.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think like really hung up on the long game, not the next step.
Right. And you know what? And it's funny because I had a couple of those today too. And one was also at the end of the day. And it was like, and this one I did cards with, right? So we sometimes did intuitive today. Sometimes there was mediumship. Sometimes there was like,
Whatever
hey, we
came.
want cards. It's like, what do you want to do? Right. It's your 15 minutes of fun. What are we doing here? Um, and it was like, you want to see a whole progress. You wanted to see the whole map.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, okay, we're going to go through this and we'll see what comes through. But the fact is, you got to do step B from A before you can go to Z,
Right.
right? I mean, it was a crazy day like that, though. And we had a couple of really jolly skeptics in here, and working with them around that was
It was tough. And it was also around everything seemed to be about becoming.
becoming,
Yeah, about becoming. And
right? How do I become this? How do I become what
and
am I
then
going to
there
be when I grow up?
and then there was the conversation. So you were doing the reading and I was having that conversation with that gentleman. Super nice.
Hmm.
But his experience and his conversation with me was so incredible because he had this 20-year military career. And he said, and then I took, my uniform off and all of a sudden realized there is a whole other world,
Hmm.
like in the awakening. And that was part of his becoming who
Yeah,
he is.
yeah,
And he's like, I wouldn't change my experience.
right. But he opened up.
Right.
I mean, this is a man that's hanging out here and he's paying for the reading for this for his sister in this
Yeah.
case.
Yeah.
And she bought a pendulum and and it was just like because he's wide open. And this is a former,
Yeah. And
retired military big guy. I mean, we just figured that, she's pulling him around and doing all this, but he is there. And it was that's becoming, right? When you are stepping out of what you like you mentioned in the very beginning, what you think you're supposed to know, what you think society is supposed to be, what you think the next step is supposed to be, and finding that because you've opened yourself up and seen so much more, there's so many more options available. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
No, no, you are. You are. Um, but that kind of leads us into the third person I was thinking of, who I can't remember where you were during this read. I think you were in there. I don't know. Anyway, so this is the third one that comes to the top of my head. And she is also a psychic and a medium.
Oh,
And she hasn't been doing it for quite some time. And she was asking for next steps and for, things that are coming up and what her guides wanted her to know. And I kept getting like, she already knows this answer. And then so they just started telling me the synchronicities that they've been laying and down and saying she's actually physically stepping over these things. And she just laughed. And she's like, yeah, but I was like,
no, yeah, but
it's not a yeah, but
it's not a yeah, but
yeah. And she knows these things, and we were having these conversations. That's becoming.
yeah.
Because you are okay, so she's sitting down in front of a psychic or a medium, or I can't remember how she asked me to. I can't remember if it was the ancestors or spirit guides or anyway, it just whatever it was. But she's sitting down in front of me asking me these things, and I'm telling her, and she's like, right, and I'm like, there's no but. Like, you're just because you're gonna ask me doesn't mean you're gonna get a different answer than you get yourself.
Right.
Quit stepping over the synchronicities and the signs. Like, your guides are telling me this and this and this. And she's like, yeah, yeah. So that means I have to do this. And I was like, I don't know. Does it?
Well, you don't have to, but the thing with becoming is if you don't take those steps, you're always going to get the same answer, right? It's like,
Unless you change your path completely.
Right.
Unless you're like, I'm going to go this way.
Right. But it's like the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. It doesn't work that way. You open up and you listen and you pay attention to the synchronicities, right?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of those today, little things that would come through. I'm like, oh, you're going to be seeing butterflies everywhere and they're going to be reminding you of blah, blah, blah. Or this one person, I mean, she has actual ancestral connections to Rihanna, the goddess. If you're into the deity part, and of course, for me, I mean, I love Rihanna, don't get me wrong, and I know who she is in terms of the studies, but I of course go right to Fleetwood Mac.
Right.
I'm like in my head going, boom, yeah, okay.
Right on.
And I'm like, no, not there. But Rhiannon is very, very protective of this person. And there's crows involved, and there's ravens involved, and there's all this stuff around her. And I'm like, this is cool. This is really cool. But she is open to that. The thing is, though, the way she was raised, she felt like she had to decide. And it wasn't until she was older. And we said, what is it about getting of an age in your 40s and 50s as women that we all of a sudden do a WTF and go for it? For those that are younger that are tuning into this, do not wait till you're older. Start questioning and becoming now and do those steps. I mean, take bold actions in.
Agree. So when we're saying becoming, this is becoming the person you're supposed to be by listening and paying attention and being whole and clearing out that programming and the things that we develop as we grow. Stop that development. Start paying attention now and break that down, because that'll put you on a path to a richer life sooner than all of us who are like 40s and 50s going,
boy, if I'd have only done this sooner, right? We've been talking about authenticity on the podcast for weeks now, right? Mm-hmm. And we are soul led. We live authentic lives. We've always lived spiritually authentic lives, albeit sometimes closeted, but authentic with ourselves. Now we're authentic publicly, right? And that's becoming. That's becoming. It's coming out of your closet and becoming who you're supposed to be, whatever that is. Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah. Let me dip into the astrology really quick. I put notes, right? Because there's a lot. So let me bring this up because we still have, okay, so Sun's in Leo. We're in Leo. We moved there. Yay, lion energy. Yummy yum. That's great. Moon is getting ready to move from Leo to Virgo. So the Leo, of course, is that expressive. And then our Virgo moon is bringing that practical, what's the grand vision? If you think of Virgo, I mean, I remember I dated a Virgo.
It was, yeah, I've
Oh,
dated lots of Virgos.
no. I mean, I love Virgo people, but as somebody, maybe it's my Capricorn moon in me, but damn, that was OCD at its finest, folks. That was a lot. But Virgo is all about the analytics, right? So it's a really good time. And with that reminder, so we've got the moon getting ready to go Virgo, Mars is in Virgo, and we still have Mercury is still retrograde, right, till August 11th. We have Mercury retrograde in Leo, and we have Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So with Mercury, it's communication, it's travel, everybody says, don't sign contracts, and technology is going to be wonky and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, okay. And that's feasible because it is communication, it is travel, it is those things when you're retrograde. And then Pluto, of course, being all about introspection and diving deep. So when we're backwards, which is what you think of with retrograde, that's just introspection time, which means communicate internally with yourself. And with the Pluto part of that, meaning go a little deeper. Because, yeah, the shadow work is there, but Pluto's saying, no, this is a deep dive. This is like the big dark places and that type of thing. So, but Pluto is retrograde in Aquarius. So with Aquarius, it's top layer, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, because your top layer in Aquarius is going to flow a little bit. And I don't know.
Well, you're not going to go deep. Is that what you mean?
Well, you are going to go deep because it's Pluto.
Right. Okay. So this is like old systems
but Aquarius is telling you, but you got to ride the wave with it.
You got to
flow with what you're going to get from it. I hope that makes sense, but it's a lot. So just kind of keeping that in mind. And we're not going to do the deep astrology. We talked about that several weeks ago on the podcast anymore, but we do a week by week one. So if you are subscribed to our mailing list,
yeah,
go to immersivespirit.com, the latest astrology email, because we are at the festival, obviously, this weekend. So if we can get that put together tonight, or we have any kind of break tomorrow to do it, we'll work on that. But it may be very late tomorrow night that's coming out for Monday through the following Sunday. And it will go much deeper into these and a lot of the different moon cycles because we have a lot coming up. I mean, we always do. Astrology is kick ass. It just is.
It is. There's so much you can take from the map of the stars. It really gives it to us. So let's pull it into the spirit moment.
Yes, please.
So if you think about this in spirit, the becoming is the becoming of your future self. So if you take that as spirit, your future you, and you walk authentically on that path, we're going to wrap this in with magic too. You're walking on that path. When you are picking alignment over approval, that is the magic. And that spirit is the spirit of you, of the future, and who you are becoming. Allowing your path to unfold is magic. Not forcing it, not trying to figure it out, just allowing it to happen.
Not spelling it into existence. And by spell, I mean ritual, right? You can't force that to happen.
Right.
But you have to be cognizant of the synchronicities, the signs, the things that are being placed in front of you. You can't blow those off either.
So there's kind of a spirit magic moment mix. Our spirit is really our future self, and the magic is allowing you to become who you're supposed to be.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yay! Me too. Yeah. So maybe put your hand on your heart, be like, I trust this to unfold exactly the way it's supposed to.
I pledge allegiance to myself.
That this is going to unfold exactly the way it's supposed to, and I am not going to F it up. I'm not going to step all over myself.
Yes. And I'm not going to force something because of other people's expectations. Of course, you have to do your job. Of course, you have to
Oh,
show
yeah.
up for events. Of course, you have to
You
be a
make
part of things.
commitments, you
You honor commitments,
honor commitments, but not
but
expectations.
becoming is beyond, it's that path to authentic living. So opening that door to becoming the person that you're supposed to be is what it's about.
Absolutely.
You're putting the icing on your own cake.
I like that.
I have a sugar thing going today. There's a lot of people in here with baked goods.
Oh my God, I just really did my
Right?
hair. Oh,
I know we're having a good old time in here. It's
yeah.
camping.
It's camping, and
camping.
my hair is starting to really feel like it.
I know we're dirty. We're dirty.
Dirty.
Oh, we're dirty. What else we got? I think that's it. I mean, we're being authentic.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Like
I
it,
think
it really has been the vibe of today. And if
truly.
you are constantly looking for what is it going to look, who am I going to be? Quit looking so far, and like we know we're going to ask those questions. I love those questions.
And timelines are great.
The
And those
timelines,
paths are
macro,
great. And the
micro.
astrology and looking at our
All of
transits
those
6
things,
years
paying
from now.
attention is good,
All of that is awesome. We do it all the time.
but we
But
have to let that unfold.
But you can't live in that moment and you can't skip from A
Just
to
like
Z.
just like the lesson I was talking about, I had told her like a direct advice. I'm like, this is what they're telling you to do next. And at the very end of it, she looked at me and she goes, all right, so what do they think about for my career? And I was like,
We
I
just
just told you, like, this is your next direct step. And she's like, oh. And I was like, that doesn't mean that's going to be your career, but that may be where your network unfolds, where you're
right.
And I don't normally get
It's just
steps like that. So it was kind of crazy.
it was
And she's
cool to
like,
get an obvious like
it's not good.
this place in this career path. And we're all
It
just
was
like
crazy. It was crazy.
sometimes it's just when people are that open and their spirit is just shining through
But then she's like,
that they're not listening to their guides. It's like,
no, but what career though? And I'm like, oh,
I just told you you're supposed to move here and do this. Your guides are screaming at this direction, and it's like, okay, go.
yeah. So
Anyway,
all I'm saying is don't ignore your next step
mm-hmm.
in honor of who you're eventually going to be.
Right.
That's becoming.
Yes. You got to live through the moments. You have to live through those moments because sometimes it's about what you're learning in that step or who you're meeting in that step to before you progress on. So in this upcoming move for this person, we saw something unfolding that was many years in advance, someplace completely different, but you can't skip forward to that because there's something here, there's messages for you here in this step that are for you. So move on to step B, pay attention to those signs. I think our soul, which one on our pillars?
Soul map.
The
I
soul
would do
map.
a soul map to get it started
Yeah.
because like don't push it anything because you're never behind.
Right.
Your soul is exactly where it needs to be.
Yes. So Immersive
Soul map.
Spirit, the soul map on immersivespiritliving.com. And of course, you can always reach out to us at info@immersivespirit.com because we are, available to help guide you there. Schedule a free session with us. It's under our services. You can go out and take a 15-minute consultation with us, and we're happy to like get you a direction wherever you need to go or use your resources, right? Reach out, phone a friend, do those things, but make sure you're taking that next step, not trying to go from the forward of the book to the appendix. You're missing a whole lot in between by doing that.
There's a big journey.
There's a big journey for all of us.
Yeah.
So to you becoming beautiful, I'm Stephanie.
I'm Natalie.
And from high heels to happy feels, we're with Immersive Spirit. We're so grateful you've been with us on this journey. For those that have been following us on YouTube for our lives, we will be doing lives again tomorrow. They're not very long. We just pop in for a minute or two just because, well, we're busy doing readings. Very grateful, incredibly grateful.
It's a beautiful place, beautiful people. This has been really
it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a Flathead Faerie Festival is just
If
outstanding.
you're here, if you're in the area, come
We'd
see
love to
us.
see you. We'd love to see you. All right. With that, have a great week ahead. Make sure you go out and subscribe to our newsletter so that you get the full astrology updates as we're going forward. We'll see you next week.